Okay, I'm just gonna start off by saying that this video is unscripted, and there's no script to it, so if you hear me like moving my mouse around and stuff, or I get a little off topic, that's why. Also, yeah, like I said, it's not scripted, so I don't have something specifically written down for me to say, so I will be clicking around and going to the different websites. So with that, let's get into the actual video. Alright, so a couple of days ago, LG unveiled some new monitors, and these kind of piqued my interest as I've been looking for a new monitor for a while, and one of the monitors they announced was actually just a newer version of the exact monitor that I was looking at a couple of days before this was announced. So they've done two monitors. They've announced it before CES. I think they plan on unveiling it, like finally selling it at CES. Like once CES starts, it'll actually go on sale. And the first one is a 4K 32-inch display that uses nano IPS technology. The difference between nano IPS is it uses nanometer-sized particles to the screen LEDs to absorb excess light wavelengths, and apparently that just really helps with the colors and stuff. And it uses 98%, and it has 98% of the DCI-P3 color gamut and HDR support. The old model this one supports HDR 600, and so that means the screen is at 600 nits. The old model is same size, same resolution, HDR 10, and DCI-P3 95%. So you get 3% more of the DCI-P3 color gamut, and you get an extra 50 nits worth of brightness. So yeah, which is pretty good. And so it has Thunderbolt 3, and you can also do a 4K daisy chain off of it if that's your kind of thing. And also with the Thunderbolt 3, it can have 60 watts for laptop charging, which would handle most laptops. But if you have something such as like a higher end MacBook Pro, or maybe like a Razer Blade or a Razer Blade Pro, then you're still gonna need a charger unless you're doing very light work on it, which if you're doing light work on it, why are you using an external monitor? But it'll still keep your battery from draining a lot faster. But that's not the main monitor they announced. That's just a new gen. So they announced a 34-inch ultra-wide monitor, which uses the 21 by 9 aspect ratio, and they're calling it a 5K panel, but it's ultra-wide, so it's not a full 5K. So it says on this website that it's 11 megapixels instead of 14.7. So the resolution on that is 5120 by 2160. So it's really just a 4K panel with extra width on it. So yeah, and with most ultra wides having a resolution of 3440 by 1400 on the high end, this will really help. And this is especially nice because you get the extra resolution, but you get the extra resolution on it's the still same panel size, so everything will look a lot more crisp. And also, it kind of helps with the pixel density, especially if you're using it for content creation, which is what most people tend to use ultrawides for, and gaming, which is where higher resolution to really help. And it does not appear. Alright, and the ultrawide does not seem to have the same color gamut as the normal monitor that I was talking about. And LG is claiming that it can do the 5120 by 2160 off of a standard Thunderbolt 3 cable. So you might remember with the LG Ultrafine 5K how you had to have a Mac in order to drive it over one Thunderbolt 3 port. With this, they claim that you don't, and it'll be running at 5K 60 hertz over one cable. The only problem is with the Thunderbolt 3, you're gonna need a pretty powerful laptop if you want to be able to drive that. Also with 4K, but 4K will still be a lot easier to drive than 5K, especially when you consider that this one has almost 4 megapixels more pixels to drive, so almost 4 million more pixels to drive. So yeah, I don't see anything else on the website. It does not say anything about the refresh rate on the 32-inch panel, but judging by the old one, I believe it'll still be 60 hertz standard, as it's really meant to be more of a professional or prosumer monitor, most likely. So you're really not gonna, so for someone doing like content creation on that, they're not gonna really need more than 60 hertz. And since it is a 4K panel, it would be very hard to drive at anything over 60 hertz. But maybe if you wanted to use it for gaming, you could turn your settings down a little and maybe overclock it to like 75 hertz. I know that's what most people do. I don't know how these LG ones are at overclocking. I know other, like the Asus and Acer ones, are a lot easier to overclock, mainly because they're made for gaming. And also on the, I don't know anything about like variable refresh rate on the ultra wide, but judging on the 32-inch, I would also believe that it's, the older gen has FreeSync, so I don't think they would take that off. So yeah, that was the news about monitors, I guess. So if you enjoyed like the video, I guess maybe subscribe to the channel, and maybe I'll make another video like this if enough people like it. This has been TNT Productions, and I hope to see you in the next video. Later, bye.